we don't know who she is. So I love it when Lesa speaks. I want to tell you a little bit about her in case there's some of you may be new to us today. Lesa Walker is a LUT licensed Unity teacher who served in various capacities at Unity of Dallas in the last 25 years. She also started when she was 10. She has a collection of degrees which encompass healthcare and spirituality. It's always been her goal to bring together mind, body, and spirit in all that she does and all that she teaches. She currently serves as our chaplain director, leads our newcomer class. What is Unity? Don't miss it the next time she does it. Good morning and welcome, Lesa.
Thank you. And I'm also a proud grandmother of 2, and I spend a lot of time with those babies. So I've been absent a lot for a little while. I was full-time babysitting for a while. Now I'm back. And you won't be able to stop me. You know what, Jennifer? I got my clicker. There has to be something like that. So you see this logo up here, and you're going to see this a few places. You might even see, if you pay attention to details like this, that the altar is decorated in red, blue, and purple. There's some little hearts out in the foyer on the next desk that are red, blue, and purple. And why are we talking about red, blue, and purple? We're going to do it for a few weeks. We're going to talk about red, blue, and purple. And we're going to talk about living in the purple zone. The reason we're doing this is because the world around us has gone a little crazy. And there's people living in their red silo, and there's people living in their blue silo, and they don't know how to talk to each other anymore. And we are not completely immune from that. We were asked as leaders to just stay away from politics on Facebook, because as soon as you put something up, you know, we start splitting our community. We have to be really careful with that. I'm not saying y'all can't, but us as leaders have chosen to just stay out of that arena for the next few weeks. And, you know, I think it's important that we care what's going on in the world. Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and unto God what is God. He didn't say, don't pay any attention to what Caesar's doing. He didn't say, don't pay attention to the world. Paul said, be in the world, but not of the world. So it's okay to care about what's going on in the world. It's not okay when it divides us. It's not okay when our families are falling apart. It's not okay when 3 out of the 6 ladies I'm sitting with at Divine Sisters ask for prayer for their anxiety levels and they're not being able to sleep at night because they're so worried about what's going on in the world. That's not okay when we get to that point. So I have borrowed a series from a friend of mine who creates series for churches. There's a big church up in Kansas City that's doing this. Apparently, they started in 2020, and every 2 years now, they have what they call a campaign for kindness. And this year, they invited my friend Marcia to help design some worship. And so we're taking the topics from that series over the next 5 weeks, and we're going to talk about kindness, compassion, humility, respect, and love. These are things that we create in the purple zone. These are things that we create when we get in, come down from our silos and start mixing it up and have real conversations, not fights, but real conversations with each other. I don't know why this thought came to me, but I was thinking about little kids playing in the dirt. So, it builds their immune system. Little kids who play in the dirt have like a 75% better immune system than other kids who are kept in sterile environments. And we're down here on this earth, and we get to play in the dirt a little bit. It's okay to care what's going on in there, but we want to use it to build our spiritual immunity. We want to use it so that we can so quickly go to that higher place. We can so quickly go into that power zone that we don't get trapped into the silos. We don't get trapped into the fighting and the carrying on. The one thing I love about this series is the color purple. And it's a power color, right? It's traditionally been a color associated with royalty, with wealth. All the kings and queens got to wear purple. Well, we have this thing in Unity called the 12 Powers. This is Charles Fillmore, our founder, assigned he was aware of the energy centers we have, kind of like the chakras, only he came up with 12 of them. And he assigned different capacities of man, capacities that we have that are God capacities. These are divine ideals that we can use in our lives. And he assigned the color purple to what he called the power of power. And the power of power is located here in your throat chakra. So the power of power, I'm not sure I can read that from here. The power of power is the power center in the throat, controls all the vibratory energies of our organism. It's the open door between the formless, that spiritual realm around us, and the formed world, this world that we walk around in these, what did you call them, uniforms? Somebody said something about our uniforms we're wearing, Louise. Every word that goes forth receives its specific character from the power facility. So we want to work to develop that power facility. He says the mind and body of man have the power of transforming energy from one plane of consciousness to the other. So we get to play in two realms. We get to play in lots of realms, but we get to play in the spiritual realm while we're playing down here in the not quite as spiritual realm sometimes. Paul Hasselbeck is one of my favorite teachers. He says the power is the ability to claim mastery, to command authority of our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, to express our prerogatives and preferences, but express them based on, he uses capitals here, ideas, truths, and principles and laws that are divine in nature. So we want to develop the power of power so that we can be master of our thoughts, master of our feelings, don't let our feelings run away with us, and our beliefs, our ever-changing beliefs. I'm married to someone that thinks our beliefs should change on the regular, and that's okay. And we want to have control and mastery over those beliefs. And that's how we become our best Christ self. I love Emily Cady, even though a lot of times I call her Elizabeth Cady because I get her mixed up with Elizabeth Cady Stanton. They look kind of the same to me. She talks in her book, Lessons in Truth, her series, Lessons in Truth, about this idea of us being having an individuality that we develop. We also have a personality, and our personality is rooted more in our physical nature, and our individuality is more of our development of our Christ self. I love that we have that statement that we open with, that there's one power and one presence active in my life and in the universe. And there's a lot of stuff between me and the universe. And a lot of times I have to say it like this. There's one power and one presence active in the White House and the Congress and all those places that I don't like to think about. It's active there. If we say that it's everywhere, it's everywhere. And included in that one power and one presence is the fact that we are one with that. We are one with the one power and one presence. We are all of that. We contain 100% of that in the spiritual realm. We are completely one. And what does that make us? What we all like to say. We all like to say, oh, we're all one. Because we are all one. Spiritually speaking, we're all one. 100%. And science has showed us that we also, physically, are 99% identical in our DNA. 99% identical in our DNA. And then we get that 1% that gives me blue eyes and you brown eyes. It changes the color of our skin. Changes something about how our brain works, changes something about our body. So we have that little bit of difference, and that's where the fun begins, right? We get that 1% difference, and then we forget that 99% we're the same. Or spiritually, we're 100% the same. But being 100% the same would be kind of boring for the universe. Paul Hasselbeck likes to say that what happens in vagueness stays in vagueness. And so we're all one is kind of one of those vague things, but coming down here and playing in these bodies and these different personalities and individualities, that's where the fun really happens, if we use it well, So it's important that we develop our God characteristics. This quote from Emily Cady talks about developing our God wisdom, our God intelligence, love, and power. And that the more that we express those things and express how our individual expression of the Christ goes forth into the world. The words of our way shower are here from Luke. Reportedly, Jesus said, "But I say to you that listen, to you that listen, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who hurt you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from anyone who takes away from your goods, do not ask for them back. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." And I want to remind you that when we look at the scripture metaphysically, a lot of times what we're really talking about metaphysically is what's going on in our own beingness, right? And so it starts with us. It starts with us being kind to those parts of ourself that we want to hate on or that we think hates us. We start with being kind to ourselves. So that's a good reminder there. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. It goes on after that to kind of give some more examples. Don't judge and you won't be judged. Don't condemn and you won't be condemned. Forgive and you will be forgiven. Give and you will receive. And it's not really talking necessarily about, I forgive you, so you forgive me right back. Or I give something to you, so now you're going to give me something back. It's talking about, I forgive, so the universe gets back to me. God gets back to me. Something will come back to me. I choose not to judge, and I won't be judged. I won't be judged harshly in a bigger way than just from the person that I'm choosing not to judge. So it comes from our scripture. I made some little booklets to go with this series. We're going to have different speaker each week. I won't be speaking each week. You're probably glad about that. We've got some beautiful people lined up. But I made some little booklets to go with this series. And there are some scriptures in there, and then there's some questions for you to take home and kind of muse over and maybe use it as a little bit of a journaling exercise. And the scripture in that's a little bit different than the one I just used. But it's all, this 6th chapter of Luke, read it. Read it. It's our instruction book for life and for getting along with each other. So for 5 weeks, we're going to be talking about kindness, compassion, humility, respect, and love. And I wanted to do this all like before the election happened. I love that it's encircling the election. I love that when we get to the week where half of us are going to be really disappointed and half of us are going to be celebrating and breathing again, it's going to be okay because we're going to be humble and we're going to be respectful of one another and we're going to practice our loving principles. And we're going to do that with each other here and we're going to do that in our homes. We are not going to let our families fall apart over this path. We're not going to lose friends over this. We're going to learn some skills and some ideas for how to keep that stuff from happening. And so today we're really going to take off a little bit on kindness. And did you hear them playing? They played David Friedman's "We Can Be Kind" song. And I'm going to use some of that material actually today. So kindness, our English word comes from an old English word that means caring. So that idea of being related, affectionate to one another, it's got that kind of an idea about it. It's the quality of treating others with respect. It has the idea of benevolence, acting with benevolence toward one another. Benevolence meaning a disposition to do good. The Hebrew word for kindness is hesed, and it's used 250 times in Hebrew scripture. When a word's used 250 times, it's a pretty important word. And Jesus was a Hebrew. I didn't find a lot of instances of him using the word kindness, but he sure did talk about love a lot. So I think he grew up with that idea that kindness is an important concept. In Proverbs, it says that kindness and faithfulness protects the king. He supports his throne by kindness. So what if all our leaders could learn to be kind? Wouldn't that be like the most amazing thing? visualizing that, visualizing kindness at the higher echelons so that we can protect this place, this country that we love. It all starts with being kind. So I am going to talk a little bit, actually, I love that they played that song, about David's book. David Friedman is one of the most kind people I've ever met. I had some big healing just from him exuding and speaking kind words to me when he was here a few years ago, and a bunch of us got to sing with him. That was such an experience. I was all nervous about it because there's this guy from Broadway coming, and it's got to be so good, and he was just so kind. He was just so sweet, and it ended up being really fun, not very scary at all. In his book, and it looks like this, and I don't know if we have any still in the bookstore, but it's on Amazon. It's an amazing book. It's very practical. If you're having a hard time having ideas about being kind, it's a great little read. But he talks about things like nobody really wants to fight. The song's got lyrics that say, let's see, so many things we can't control, so many hurts that happen every day, so many heartaches. Nobody really wants to fight. Nobody really wants to go to war. Everyone wants to make things right. So what are we always fighting for? And then he goes on to talk about being kind. So nobody really wants to fight. It doesn't feel that way right now, does it? It feels like a lot of people are just raring for a fight. So what can we do when we encounter people that are just raring for a fight? Well, we can choose to not engage. I don't know how far that's going to take us over the long haul. I think we might want to learn to engage in a kind manner. Not saying that you should let someone run all over you, but if someone's coming at us with a fight ready to happen and they just really want to fight, we can stop and listen to them. We can stop and listen to them and really listen and really hear their point of view. Maybe we'll learn something. We got to spend some time with David Roth this weekend. He stayed with us while he was here to do a little concert for us. And my husband picked out a place to go eat that he affectionately calls, what do you call it, Bikers for Jesus? He says that Bikers for Jesus run this little place. And it's a fun little place. And David he's like, I want to go there. I want to meet these people. I want to talk to people. I want to get to know some of these people. I want to hear their opinions. And it was fun. It was a fun little place. I really, really liked our waitress. I have no idea who she's going to vote for in 3 weeks, but I really liked her. It was fun. So we need to open ourselves up to listening to people. So if someone wants to fight with you, maybe you listen, and then maybe you choose to either disengage or engage with a kind, controlled manner. There are so many things we can't control, right? Like so many things we can't control. Like we really can't control anything except what? Right here. This is all the control I have right here. I can't always control, or I don't think I control my feelings, but according to our metaphysics, we can learn to control our feelings. We can learn to control our thoughts. We can learn to control our beliefs because we act out of those things so much. And one of the ways a lot of us are doing that now is we're taking that quantum living process, right? So we're learning how to handle when we're triggered, how to go inside, find out what that trigger is about, and then how do we give that to ourselves? That thing that's missing, that thing that let us be triggered, how do we give that to our own selves? So that we can learn to control our thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, so that we can act out of a place of kindness. There's so many things we can't control, but what we can control are ourselves. Remember our 4 agreements that we studied in the fall? Or was it spring? The spring. The year is getting away from me. Don't take things personally. Don't assume things about other people. Don't assume you know what's going on with somebody who's acting out. You don't know what's going on with somebody. There may be a reason why that guy is kind of in front of me and he's in a big hurry. And maybe I should just not flip him off. Maybe I should just bless him along his way and tell him to have a good day. And I would feel a lot better if I did that. I would feel a lot better if I did that. And that would be being impeccable with my words. I think flipping him off is probably not impeccability. him out is not impeccability on my part, but blessing him along his way and hoping that he gets there safely because he's driving a little crazy. That's impeccable. And we want to do our best actions. We want to make sure that we are acting in a kind way. So there's so many things that we could take as hurt, so many things that we could get upset about. But the only thing we control is what comes out of our mouth and what kind of actions we put out into the world. There's a thing we learned in 12 steps called HALT. Does anybody know HALT? HALT. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? If I am any of those things, maybe I shouldn't say anything right now. Maybe I should just choose to be quiet and sit back and relax and maybe go feed myself or go get a nap or something like that before I try to engage in the world. It's a great little thing to put in your mind. Halt. I'm angry when we tired. And David sang a song Friday night about, is it necessary? Is it true? Is it kind? I know we've all heard that before. Before we speak, is it necessary that I'm saying this? Do they really need to hear what I think about this? Is it true? Did I check it out before I reposted it? You might want to check those facts before you just repost things on Facebook. And is it kind? Maybe if we all just flooded our feeds and our lives with kind things, put kindness out into the world, it would start to be a better place. I spent a lot of time this last weekend at Unity Village with a teacher named Martha Creek, and we talked a lot about no good, no bad. There's a little story in this book that I'm going to go ahead and summarize for you guys. It's a Buddhist story. It's an old Buddhist story. There's a poor farmer, a destitute farmer, and he just is hopeless. And then out of nowhere comes a beautiful horse onto his farm. He thought, how wonderful, this horse came to me. He can help me with the farming. And this is a good thing. But a wise Buddhist would say, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Who knows? The next day, the farmer's son was riding the horse, and he fell off and broke his leg. The farmer was distraught. Now he didn't have anyone to help him with the farming. This is a bad thing. I wish that horse hadn't showed up. This is terrible. This is a bad thing. The wise Buddhist would say, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Who knows? The next day, the army conscription officer showed up and drafted all the young men in the village. But guess who didn't have to go? His son, because he needed to heal from his injury. And he said, oh, this is a wonderful thing that this horse came and my son fell off, and now he doesn't have to go to the army and fight. A wise Buddhist would say, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Who knows? And the story could just go on like that. And it's kind of the story of our lives unfolding. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. We don't always know in the moment. We don't always know in the moment. Unless we choose to believe that everything is for us. Everything is for our good. And there's scripture to back that up. All things work together for our good. If we believe that, if we choose to believe that, that's something we can choose to believe. And it's a wonderful thing. Martha was talking a lot about a book she's reading by a guy named Richard Schwartz. It's called No Bad Parts. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really looking forward to digging into it. And it's about just accepting all of us, accepting the wholeness of us, accepting whatever comes to us, and naming it good. And by naming it good, we create good. We make it good. And out of creating that good, we can choose to be kind. And so, in closing, I'm just going to say, I'm not going to sing it, I don't think. Did I go too far? I don't have Bob to back me up. But these are some of the words to the song that he was playing. We can be kind. We can take care of each other. We can remember that deep down inside, we all need the same thing. And maybe we'll find, if we are there for each other, that together we'll weather whatever tomorrow may bring. And maybe we'll find true peace of mind if we always remember we can be kind. So I'm going to just invite you what the chair has told you, and however you feel rooted to the earth, root yourself. If that's feet on the floor, butt on the chair. Imagine yourself rooted to this beautiful planet, and yet your spirit is open to all the spiritual realm around us. We open to that one power and that one presence, and knowing that we are one with everything. We bless ourselves by saying, you can just say it to yourself, or you can say it after me. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May the people around me be filled with loving kindness. May they be well. May the people around me be peaceful and at ease. May they be happy. May the people around me be filled with loving kindness. May they be well. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be happy. May the whole world be filled with loving kindness. May the world be well. May it be peaceful and at ease. May it be happy. May the whole world be filled with loving kindness. May it be well. May it be peaceful and at ease. May it be happy. We hold that feeling of loving kindness as we come back into the space. And we know that we are kind, we are loving, we are Christ's expression. So things.
Thank you, Lisa.